Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, Tanner broke barriers with his innovative medium paintings and influenced generations of artists around the world. To find out more about the efforts to preserve his legacy and North Philadelphia childhood home, visit thetannerhouse.org, a message from the Friends of the Tanner House.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays? The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Remember the last time your family visited the forest? It's a place of wonder and imagination for the whole family, where stories come to life, and it's closer than you think. Ready to plan your next visit? Make the forest part of your story today at a local park near you, or find one at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your Black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. If there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Celebrating 20 years of progressive Black talk media. We're bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online at wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on WURD Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L. O.
What's that?
What? It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Good evening to you all. As you know, today is Thursday, October 26th. Happy Friday, Junior, to you, in the words of our very own beloved Kayla J. I hope you enjoyed tonight's mayoral forum. We are happy that you stayed to spend some time with us. To my fellow Scorpions, happy birthday to you. If you're celebrating a birthday, even if you're, just in Scorpio season, because you all know, I told you I'm celebrating the entire month. I'm still celebrating. So family, since we only have an abbreviated schedule tonight, you know what I like to do as we get started. I like to check in. At least that's what I call it. So if you are hanging out with us via socials, let us know that you're out there by sharing a comment, and I will do my best to read it on the air. You can also give us a call. You can do that by dialing 215-634-8065, and you can even call us toll free. You can do that by dialing 1-866-361-0900 if you'd like to share some love with us verbally. You know, Nick Steptoe and I, my illustrious producer, as he is, always are happy to have you join us. And we appreciate the love you share any way you share it. And for those of our family members, tonight I am talking to you. For those of our family members whose hearts are a little heavy, or whose light is shining just a little dimly today, I want you to know that you are not alone. You hear me? I am sending you all the extra love and hugs that I can muster in this moment, on behalf of your tribe and your village, because you need to know that you are not alone. You are so not alone. So, family, you know I have some things that I need to share with you as reminders. The first of which is WURD Radio is sharing a harvest for the world. Now through December 31st, visit wordradio.com to find information on upcoming Give Back events in the Philadelphia area. If your organization is hosting free clothing giveaways, food drives, free workshops, community dinners, and more, please share the details using the form on our website. Visit wordradio.com/the harvest and look for the harvest banner. It's harvest time, and we are sharing information on those giving back to the community. The Harvest is brought to you by Comcast, Pico, Keystone First, and the United Way. We are WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. And now the other thing that I want to remind you of, and you know it's coming, family, I want to remind everybody actually that we need support from our community. Our Forward and Up campaign has an unprecedented goal for WURD Radio to recruit 2,000 members of the Forward movement. I believe in WURD. You know I do. And because you are listening, I know that you do too. So if you are not already a member of the Forward movement, well, now is the time. So go to wordradio.com and click membership right there at the top of the page. Help us to reach our goal of 2,000 members in our 20th year of Black Talk Media. I want to acknowledge some of our family members who are checking in. Hi there, Brother Malcolm. He shares that he is watching and listening from West Mount Airy. A good evening to you as well. And Brother Nasir, hi there. He's sharing peace and blessings with everybody as usual. We love your peace and blessings. Yes, we do. I look forward to it. I definitely do. Before I introduce you to our most interesting guest this evening, I'm going to go to our phone lines because one of our family members is checking in. Hello there, and thank you so much for calling.
Yes, hi, Carol. Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody, our radio listening audience is listening. I want to buy membership on this for this program because of the program itself. And I want to give that membership to Dr. Z for always coming on and sharing with our audience, the 7 o'clock audience. I want to get a membership. Get her you get her information, and I want to get it in the name of WRD because of your the show, of you and the team, Nick and your team, and I'll pay for that membership. Just get it, and I'll give you the money for it. But Carol, I want to make a comment real quick. That there should be, when you and Dr. Z talked about a person or people that their childhood have been bad, and sometimes they take it into the into their adulthood. I want to remind you of this, Cal. All the time, that's not true in reference that they do things to compensate that. Let me ask you a question, Cal, by John Lawrence Dunbar. Why do the cage birds sing? You know, that was Maya Angelou that did that. It was Lawrence Dunbar did that. I used to go to the plays and take, ladies to see all the plays. What's the wine cellar about and all like that. And why do the cage birds sing, Cal? Let me give you the answer. The reason the cage bird sing, ladies and gentlemen, is God made that bird to sing. The nightingale, the cage bird. You can put it in a cage. You can have it at night through creation. He's going to sing, and it's going to sing regardless of the situation. And if you're good for him, God bring you in this world. If he put in you to be good in spite of the obstacles that you're faced with, that's what that bird's going to do. So sometime, our childhood and things like that, if the person that God made that person just to be a good human being, it's going to be that. I enjoyed that program last week. It was very interesting with the different points of views that y'all were sharing with people in relationship. But when you have a relationship out of sadness and then joy come into your life, and that goes for all of us, Auntie and all of us that have been here, and some of us are still here. That's what that's what that bird is going to do, is creation. If God made you to be a good human being, which he made all of us, but some of us have been victims. But out of victimness comes good and share with others. So my cup running over was always good. Once again, get your membership. Get your membership, ladies and gentlemen. We can help our station. If you're looking at the television and stuff, our station needs the help. And they get your membership. They got a down payment that you can pay if you don't have the $90 for it. And I guess Carol will get that information and share with y'all. Everyone be blessed. Remember, we are our brother and sister keeper by the things that we do for one another. Thank you very much.
We are indeed. Ron, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. A tremendous thank you to you always for sharing love and for sharing positivity, and as always for your transparency. My mother would always say, out of every bad comes some good. So I try to see things that way. Well, y'all hear me. Family, you hear me every night. I'm always trying to see the good in everything and everybody. I try. It can be difficult, but I do try. All right, family, let's get started. Our guest tonight, she's an awesome individual, but she's a freelance director and artistic producer who is the assistant director for a play called What the Constitution Means to Me. It's a play that details how the United States Constitution has affected the lives of Americans in the past and how it will shape the future generations of Americans. Family, I invite you to the conversation with none other than Mikaela Boone. Hi there, beautiful.
Hi, Carol. Thank you so much for having me.
It's it's truly a pleasure to have you visit with us. I'm excited to hear all about you and everything that you're doing and have done, and particularly about the play. So I know we only have an hour and there's so much to cover in that hour. So forgive me if I'm all over the place because I have so many questions for you. That's the first thing. But secondly, would you tell our family members just a little about you?
Yeah, so as Carol introduced me, I'm Mikaela. I use she, her pronouns. I am, as you said, a freelance director and artistic producer living here in Philadelphia. Right now, I am sitting in the offices of the Arden, which is the theater company that is producing What the Constitution Means to Me. Our first preview is this evening, and we would love to see and hear all of your listeners at our show in the coming weeks. And it's been a true pleasure to collaborate on this show. This show has been on my radar since 2019 when it was on Broadway. Heidi Shore first put it up in 2017. So it's had a long journey, and just recently, this year has become one of the most produced plays around the country. But we are lucky, as Philadelphians, to have this play a couple of blocks from where the Constitution was written and signed, which is, something that no other company that is putting this up right now is able to say. Very, very exciting.
That is exciting. I mean, you're absolutely right. That's something that no one else can say. That makes it unique in another way. Well, Mikaela, I want to know, I'm so curious to know, because you said this play has been around. Now, I love theater. And I'm so mad that I'm not familiar. I had not heard about it until I was reading, and then I said, okay, this is something that it really is of interest to me. It has
Yeah.
become of great interest to me when I started reading the research. But can you share with us the playwright's inspiration for creating this play?
Yeah. So, as I am sure everybody who is listening in feels right now, we are in a moment of, you know, reconciling ourselves as a country. We are in a moment
Mhm.
of reconsidering our identity, who we
Mhm.
are, how we move forward. And in many ways, that is what this play is about. So, Heidi Schreck, the playwright, was writing this and developing this. Leading up to the 2016 election, which really changed America in a lot of ways for a lot of people,
Mhm.
as we all know and feel. And how this play starts is she's reflecting on when she was a teenager, she loved the Constitution. And as someone who was definitely very much a history nerd in high school, I in some ways can definitely relate to that, I guess. So the play begins with her saying, I'm going to re-embody my 15-year-old self, and I'm going to re-explore what it was that I love so much about the Constitution. She traveled around the country giving speeches in American Legion halls, basically about how this document had influenced her life in order to win scholarship money. So that's kind of the first section of the play, and it's her rebuilding, reviving, reconstructing this section of her life. And then as the play progresses, it breaks that form, because as a mid-40s person reflecting back on her 15-year-old self, there are points where she can still very much relate to the document, and then there are points where she's like, this I have a radically different relationship,
Exactly.
which is both due to age but also due to era, right? And awareness and interconnectivity and all of that. So she continues to explore the Constitution through the lens of how it's affecting her, and not just herself, but all Americans, and especially, honestly, women, now and throughout history, through a much more nuanced and adult lens. So she talks about how the Constitution has failed to serve women, people of color, Indigenous folks, but not in a way, because in this moment of intense political discourse and turmoil, often what you encounter online and whatnot is people very much expressing their opinion in a way that is if you don't believe with me, I won't have discourse with you. But what she does through this is she asks us to question with her. And that's really the beauty of the piece, is that you're, as an audience member, invited into the investigation of what the Constitution means to all of us. And she takes you on this journey. And at the end of the play, the kind of last section of it is actually a live debate with a real high schooler from Philadelphia. And debating some of the questions that she brings up over the course of the play, over the Constitution and its relevance to who we are now as Americans versus who we have been, and how this document will continue to shape who we are. And then the audience decides what to do next. So
the audience,
it really is, yes.
Okay. Oh, wow. Well, I have a question about that, but it's time for us to take just a short break. We're going to go to break in a moment. So I'm going to hold my question until we come back. I do want to acknowledge our beloved and very own Nick Taliaferro, who stopped by. Nick is so bad, but I'm so happy to have you join us and visit. So I am. And my beloved Jody Austin. Hi there, beautiful. She's sending a hello to us all. We're happy to have you join us as well. Family, if you have just tuned in, you are tuned in to Love and Life right here on WURD with yours truly, Carol Riddick. We are talking with Mikaela Boone, and we are talking about the play called What the Constitution Means to Me. I was anxious to have this conversation because I'm so curious to know so much about the play, and I'm so glad that Mikaela obliged. And she said, yeah, I will absolutely come to talk with you about it. Family, what we're going to do is take just a short commercial break, but I do want to remind you that the phone lines are open, and I'm going to give you the numbers again to call, which are 215-634-8065, or the toll-free number is 1-866-361-0900. Also, feel free to continue to comment on our socials, and I promise I'll do my best to read your comment on the air. Whatever you do, though, stay with us, because we'll be right back.
Are you ready to party? The party is about to be on. Join us Friday, November 10th for WURD Radio's 20th anniversary celebration, an evening of Black excellence and elegance at the beautiful Fiddler Club in downtown Philadelphia. A cocktail reception gets us started at 6 p.m. Grab a bite, share a toast, or hang out with your favorite WURD host. And in recognition of this milestone birthday, we're bringing together the owners of the nation's 3 remaining Black Talk radio stations, Melody Span Cooper of WVON Chicago, Tavis Smiley of KBLA Los Angeles, and WURD's own CEO Sarah Lomax, exploring the future of Black independent-owned media. We'll have a special live performance with dynamic songstress Carol Riddick, and the house will be rocking with legendary DJ Gary O, spinning music from old school to today. To get your tickets, visit wordradio.com/20th anniversary. And remember, membership has its privileges. For WURD members can still continue to purchase tickets at a discounted rate. Your membership will be verified after purchase. Our 20th anniversary celebration is brought to you by Comcast, Bank of America, United Way, Keystone First, Wells Fargo, United Healthcare, and Mainline Health.
We gon' celebrate and have a good time. King C. Gillette knows you're dedicated to your barbershop routine. But what about after? What's your routine for facial hair to avoid dry skin, itching, and beard rough? Well, the King C. Gillette Beard Oil is a perfect fit for making your beard feel as good as it looks. It softens your facial hair and moisturizes to help prevent itch due to dry skin. Get facial hair that feels as good as it looks. Just trim, wash, and soften with King C. Gillette.
Tailgating season is here. Keep things sizzling all season long with Dietz & Watson. Fire up the grill with perfectly smoked premium franks and sausages, or enjoy endless sandwich combos with fresh sliced meats and cheeses in a variety of bold flavors. There's something for everyone in the family. Plus, plenty of protein-packed snacks. Head to DietzandWatson.com to find a ShopRite store near you. Dietz & Watson. It's a family thing. Premium meats and artisan cheeses since 1939.
Tune in this Saturday at 3 p.m. for the Friends of Farrakhan show, understanding the ultimate truth of the knowledge of self and the knowledge of God.
And now,
in the midst of challenging times, our Black spaces, our voices, and our stories are under attack. Our goal? To reach 2,000 members by the end of the year. We need your support now more than ever. WURD Radio has been your trusted source for Black talk media for 20 years, and we want to continue making history for another 20. This is urgent, and the time to act is now. Help us move forward and up to reach our goal. Visit wordradio.com and join the movement. Let's stand together. Let's make a difference. Go to wordradio.com and become a member today.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. We are talking with Mikaela Boone, and we are talking about the play titled What the Constitution Means to Me. And before the commercial break, Mikaela, you shared with me that there's an actual 15-year-old high schooler that debates, that participates in a debate in the play. With whom is the high schooler debating?
So one of the elements of the play is that this is originally performed by the playwright Heidi Strack. But since it has gone on to do regional productions, our very own Philadelphia superstar, Jessica Bedford, is playing Heidi. And then the last section of the play, she reintroduces herself as herself, and she invites one of a high schooler to join her on stage. And to, like I said, debate the question, should we keep or abolish the United States Constitution?
Well, that question right there is loaded.
A hefty
That's a
question,
very
yeah.
loaded question. Yes, it is. So you shared that the audience gets to participate as well. How interactive is the play?
So that last section is highly interactive. We are asking you to participate, to engage in the discourse via hissing, booing, cheering, calling out, like, yes, you tell them, encouragement, discouragement, according to what you believe in and how essentially kind of you would vote on this issue. And then at the end, our high schooler invites one of the audience members to be a judge. We live in a representative democracy, not a real democracy. And that audience member represents the audience of the show and votes either to keep or to abolish the Constitution. And that sort of is a reflection on, there is no right, there is no right or wrong answer for this question. There are so many arguments on both sides of this issue. There are so many ways the Constitution does not serve every American. But also, if we abolish it, what are we left with? And what is left protecting our most vulnerable citizens, right? So it's this really double-edged sword of, is the Constitution the source of our problems, or is it the solution? It's kind of both. And it's so baked into the American fabric that, yeah.
As I'm listening to you share all of that with us, and that is such a hefty question. It truly, truly is. As you have seen the play several times, what type of emotions do you leave with? I'm so curious to know.
Yeah, it's a kind of a crazy question because it is such a mixed bag. So I remember coming home even from the first rehearsal, and talking to my friends and being like, guys, during the first reading, I laughed and I cried, which is something that I normally reserve for pieces of theater and stories that are the most moving, because something that has that kind of breadth, I don't know, it's very engaging. So I would, if you come see the show, I would expect to do both. You will definitely find yourself chuckling. There are some hilarious parts of this show. The high school debater is such a breath of hope and life that, that youthful optimism that so many of us need to see and be around right now. But at the same time, it's in many ways a discussion of how the Constitution doesn't serve us. And how it fails to protect us on a daily basis. And to be invited into that discussion is also heartbreaking. So I would expect to feel all the things.
I was about to say, processing the discussion there have to be a ton of emotions that one feels, that one goes through, or through which one goes, that it experiences. And there's just one high schooler that participates in the debate.
So there are two, just to accommodate, we don't want to infringe on anyone's academics. So it trades off night to night, which high school debater it will be. But they're both, one goes to Central High School, one goes to Masterman High School in Philadelphia. So they're very much, local members of the community.
So what is it that you hope audiences take away from experiencing this production?
I hope that they feel invited and invigorated in asking civic questions that feel so we feel so closed off from right now. Like, I know on a day-to-day basis, listening to the news, even thinking about voting, often I just feel like so overwhelming, nothing that I do matters. And what this play does is it shows you that it does matter, that freedom is in the words of Diane Nash, freedom is by definition people realizing that they are their own leaders. So it is, it's a reinvigoration of that idea of the contract with the American people and our government, and an affirmation that it is a difficult time to be an American right now, but it doesn't mean that we should give up.
It is such a difficult time to be an American right now. I mean, and that that is what I was thinking. That is what I was processing as as we began the conversation. The title alone of the play, it just made me think so many things. The first thing I was curious about was, the attendees, the audience, the energy that they come with, and the energy that they leave with. I'm curious. I'm so curious about that, and what the expectation is, even, when one comes to see the production. Because listen, we all know, and as you've just said, you've said so many truths about the Constitution. It just, there's so many truths. There's so much. It's a long conversation we could have about the Constitution. A family, if you have just joined us, you are tuned in to Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We are talking with Mikaela Boone, and we're talking about the play called What the Constitution Means to Me. I tell you that title just whew. It is a play that details how the United States Constitution has affected the lives of Americans in the past and how it will shape the future generations of Americans. That right there is the biggest question I have. How it will shape our babies, how it will shape the future Americans. If you have a question or a comment, feel free to share it with us, and you can do that by calling. You can do that by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can even call us toll free. You can do that by dialing 1-866-361-0900. And you can also feel free to comment on our socials. And I will do my very best to read your comment on the air. So, Mikaela, I'm so curious to know, what is the expectation, and if there is one, as to how this production will shape the future generations of America?
Yeah, I mean, talk about a hefty question. Because we are, like I said, we are in a moment that feels like there is no super clear path forward for so many of us. And I think what this play asks is, in the spirit of civic engagement, which tomorrow is National Civic Engagement Day, right? Something like that. It's an upcoming holiday of sorts. And it's basically, this play is asking us to, make our voices be heard. Call your representatives, write to your representatives. And, one of the ending lines of the play is, we have to do it ourselves. Like, we have to run for political office. Like I said, make our voices be heard. And for me, one of the most crushing things is, there haven't been any constitutional amendments in my lifetime.
Well,
there you go.
Yeah.
And we've been trying to pass the Equal Rights Amendment for 100 years. And there really is no time like the present. We can't give up just because it is hard, and because it is extremely tiring. Part of what being an American is using the tools that are built into our social fabric to seek change and to improve the world around us.
How about that? And like you were saying, though, these are trying times. Here we are in 2023. There's no better time than the present to make change.
Yeah.
No better time. I mean, it's long overdue, quite honestly. It's so long overdue. I really do appreciate what you said about the play being interactive and inviting the audience to participate in, to decide when the discussion takes place. I think that's a huge undertaking, quite honestly, because when you're talking about the Constitution, like I said, there's a lot of energy that could come, from the discussion alone.
Yeah.
So that's That's courageous, I will say. But I do think the conversation is necessary. I definitely think the conversation is necessary, and I appreciate as well, like you said, it encourages us as a whole to move, to vote, to make change. So I appreciate that. I most certainly do appreciate that. And I also I appreciate the involvement of our youth. That's
Yes.
so necessary, especially
So,
when you talk about how this play will make change for future generations. I mean, that's where it starts, and being inclusive.
yeah.
I think that is awesome. So, what will the play portray in regard to showing people how the Constitution affected the lives of Americans in the past?
Well, there's a moment where one of the actors says, "Raise your hand if you are a white man who owns property," and then she says, "Under the original terms of this document, you are the only people who were citizens."
How about that?
And we have been moving forward and forward and forward from that, and we have still not arrived. We are in a constant state of moving forward and progressing. So as the Constitution has evolved, as time has passed in our in over the course of American history, our Constitution has become more inclusive, but it still has so much further to go.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, as we all know, and I'm not saying anything that of which we're not aware, a lot of laws that were put into place were put specifically into place so that people like me, so that Black people were not able to thrive. So when you say we have a long way to go, we really, really do, because not only has a lot of those laws not been changed, but some that have not been changed completely.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, talk about so interesting that conversation between the Constitution and state law. There are so many things that are protected by the Constitution that if the Constitution was rolled back, or if certain rights were rolled back, things that are atrocious portions of our history, like segregation, like the prohibition on gay marriage, would absolutely be legal again in different states. So in some ways, this document is really protect. That's what I meant at the beginning when I said that this protects some of our most, or some of our least protected overall citizens.
Yeah, but they're it's such a. I mean, like you said though, I'm grateful that this play exists because it's causing us to pay attention. It's causing us to say, it's one of the things I should say that is causing us to pay attention and to actually have the conversations that are necessary to be had. I do want to share, one of our family members is checking in. Eric, hi there, Eric. He shares, "Hi, Carol and Mikaela. Good evening. Eric here. I believe going forward, we will improve. I'm hoping and praying our government and our people will evolve to a higher growth and understanding. This conversation with the two of you is definitely informative and positive energy. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate that." And Brother Malcolm is sharing, "There are elements that want to take us backwards." Yes.
Yes.
And to your point, Mikaela, when you were saying that, this piece, it urges us to talk with our council members, talk with our congressmen and women, to, it urges us to do so. But I'm looking for that like pivotal moment where change, some real change happens, because again, I'm so grateful that we are having these conversations and that, we're actually listening to one another. That's at one point in time we weren't really listening to one another. So I'm glad that we're there now, where we're beginning, I should say, to listen to one another so that some change can actually take place. So I do have some more questions with you, but I'm looking at the time, and it's time for us to take just a short commercial break. Family, the phone lines are still open, and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. Stay with us because we will be right back.
WURD Radio Digital Tip of the Month with Stephanie Humphrey is brought to you by Comcast.
Like anything else in life, technology has an expiration date. Smartphone hardware gets old and starts to break down, and software becomes harder to keep updated. After a while, not updating your device or your software can cause functional issues like slower speeds and crashing apps or websites, and security issues that can leave your technology open to hackers as well. But how do you know when it's finally time to make that upgrade? Head to endoflife.date to search for your device or software. Find out what latest version exists, if your version has been discontinued, and if there is still support for the gadget you own or the software you're currently using. While your devices and software should still work past their end of life date, check out endoflife.date so you won't be unprotected and you won't sacrifice productivity either. Stay tuned to WURD for more tips and stay connected with us at wordradio.com.
Tune in to WURD Radio this Saturday at 10 a.m. for Saturdays with City Council. Join conversations that matter to your community with your local City Council members.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and here's some information from the Centers for Disease Control on some of the risk factors for breast cancer. Getting older. A woman's risk for breast cancer increases as she ages. Women who have inherited mutations on certain genes are also at a higher risk of not only breast cancer, but ovarian cancer. Did you know that starting your period before age 12 and starting menopause after age 55 exposes women to hormones longer, increasing their risk? Unfortunately, women who've already had breast cancer are at a higher risk of getting breast cancer a second time. A woman whose mother, sister, or daughter, or multiple family members on either their mother or father's side of the family have a higher risk of breast cancer. While these may be some of the risk factors you can't control, there's at least one you can: not being physically active. So this October, commit to increasing your physical activity, schedule your mammogram, and tune into WURD Radio for more information on breast health. This breast cancer awareness vignette was brought to you by Keystone First.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life right here on WURD with yours truly, Carol Riddick. We are talking with Mikaela Boone. She is sharing with us about the play called What the Constitution Means to Me. And quite honestly, I am really enjoying this conversation here to spend some time with member Cheryl. Cheryl is checking in. She's sending a good evening to everybody. She said, "Good evening, fam. Good evening." Thank you so much, Cheryl, for joining us. We're happy to have you here with us. Family, as you know, we had an abbreviated episode tonight, so I'm grateful that Mikaela was able to spend some time with us. I just have one more question for you, Mikaela, if you don't mind. So I'm curious to know, thank you, how you feel the production will continue to affect the lives of Americans in the future.
Yeah, I mean, the play is really geared towards young people in a lot of ways. So first and foremost, by engaging with these high school debaters that I've been talking about, watching them grow and find their voices and their abilities to express themselves and their opinions and how they see the future of America has been definitely one of the most beautiful parts of making this thing for me. And we are inviting a lot of the students and young people to engage with the show. So, you know, we have several student matinees. We're really trying to get student groups in and young people in. because it's really important that everyone is part of the conversation and everyone is imagining and dreaming of what the future holds for all of us. And I said this in the beginning, but I'll say it again a little bit. It's really wonderful that this show is being produced across the country right now. So young people in Philadelphia are having the same conversations that young people in Minnesota and San Francisco and, like wherever else this production is going up and taking place. And that is a moment of unity that is really wonderful, but it really is about the future. It's about what we can all imagine together and how we move forward. So that's, I think, how the production, or at least I hope the production, will continue to affect the lives of Americans.
I thank you for repeating that point, because I thought it was so necessary to, for those of our family members who just joined us to hear, and for those who've already been with us to hear again. I'm all for unity, and I'm all for trying to move forward in a positive way. And I'm grateful that that's, one of the goals, because it feels to me that that's one of the goals of this production. That's one of the main goals of this production, to have us move forward positively and to keep this conversation going so that we can affect change. And Mikaela, you wouldn't know this, but our family members hear me talk about our babies all day, every day. So the fact that, they're included, in the conversation, that means the world to me, because they are the future. They are the future. So who better to include in this conversation about making change for the future, but our future? So I so appreciate that. I neglected to ask you to share with our family members what your responsibility is as the assistant director. What exactly does that entail for you?
Yeah, so it means that I'm alongside our amazing director, Jennifer Childs, who is a Philadelphia treasure in creating this production. So, being at rehearsals every day, helping shape the technical elements of the show. So like the lights, the sound, all of that. And also being an additional resource for our actors, and especially our high schoolers. When I was in high school, I did debate, and I look at these kids as where I was, 10 or so years ago, and it is really, it's really refreshing. So that is my contribution to the show.
That has to feel so good as a former debater. Yeah. Especially as a former debater and watching, just hearing them, that has to feel good. I know that feels good. I was involved in it just a little, not, I'm sure not as much as you, Mikaela, but I enjoyed it. So I always find pleasure in watching the babies when they, take part in the same activities. So, Mikaela, I'm going to ask you this one last question. What is it? Well, first of all, can you tell us where, number one, I didn't share that with our family members, where they can see the play? How about that?
Yes, so you can see the play at the Art and Theater Company through December 10th. So you have plenty of time to see it, but don't let that dissuade you from coming right away and telling your friends all about it. Because, as we've been chatting about, Carol, it's all about the conversation that's going around on about these topics. So, yeah.
Especially because we have so much going on in the world right now.
Yes, we do.
As I take a deep breath on that one, I needed to pause for a second. So, Mikaela, what will you leave with us today?
Well, first, I'd just like to thank you so much for having me on tonight and chatting with me a little bit about what the Constitution means to me and a little bit about what's going on in the world right now. And I guess what I'd like to leave with is, A, come see the show. We'd love to have you. But B, don't forget the power that your voice has to impact change in our country. So,
God bless you for that, Mikaela. Cheryl is checking in, and she shares, Mikaela, you sound like you are moving forward in godly mission, and you're like helping others. Congratulations.
Thank you, Cheryl.
That was so sweet. Cheryl is such a sweetheart. Oh my goodness, all the love. But I'm so glad that you are receiving Well, our family members here have nothing but love. That's what we do. That's what we do. We talk about everything here on Love and Life. So I'm glad that you're here to receive some love from our family members. Mikaela, I hope that you will come back to see us soon.
Definitely. Can't wait to tune in.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear, Mikaela. That's what we like to hear. Well, Mikaela, thank you. And please extend my gratitude to Jonathan as well. Family, I was rushing at the beginning of the show and I cut Jonathan off and I didn't mean to do so. So please extend my gratitude to him. Eric shares, thank you, Mikaela. You seem so driven and well-versed. Keep on keeping on.
Thank you.
See, that's love right there, Mikaela.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. We will see you next time. Family. There we are. These glitches, I tell you. So I'm curious to know. I want to take just 2 minutes for those of you who were checking out the mayoral forum that took place this evening. Before I share my love for you all and close the program, I'm just curious to know. Just tell me about it. What was your takeaway? Did you enjoy the mayoral forum? Did you not? Did you find out anything that you did not know? Was it informative or, let me know. For those of you who are joining us, feel free. Share a comment with me on our socials. And you have about maybe 1 minute left if you want to give me a phone call to talk with me about that. But let me know. I am so curious to know. So curious to know. So curious. In the meantime, family, it always feels so weird to me when we have so little time to spend together. It always does. I don't like it. But in any event, I love all the time I do get to spend with you. So I won't complain. I won't complain. Again, I want to say thank you to Mikaela for spending some time with us tonight and for talking with us about what sounds like an interesting production, if nothing else. It sounds so interesting. Family, I know we're coming upon the weekend. I'm not going to see you on Monday. I won't be here on Monday. I'm just giving you a heads up, okay? I won't be here on Monday. That's my actual born day, and my family is surprising me. So I won't see you on Monday, but I will see you on Tuesday of next week, if God wills it. And I pray that he does. Malcolm shares that he was watching and listening to that forum. Not all of the issues were addressed. Okay. Were most of them addressed? Were most of the issues addressed? Were some? What did you think? Thank you, Cheryl. She says, happy birthday. Thank you. I was going to be quiet about it because I haven't said what the actual day is, but then I said, well, I don't want to not be here and not let you know, so I won't be here Monday. And they're taking me out to dinner. So I'm happy about that. Yay. Well, thank you, Malcolm, for keeping me posted on that. Most of the issues were addressed. Okay, I'm glad to know that you did feel that they were. All right, well, family, here it's time. So, praising God from whom all blessings flow. You hear me? On this Friday, Junior, thanks to Miss Kayla J. She gave us that. Just thank you. Thank you. I love to thank you for all the love that you share. I love to thank you for welcoming me and Nick every evening. Hey there, Joey. I see you. Joey Dixon is checking in. I love that. Love. All the love that you all share. And I love to let you know how much we love it. To our guest, Mikaela, just so much gratitude I'm extending to her as well. To the entire WURD family, especially Niall Jackson, Nick Steptoe. Just thank you both for all that you do. Family, I'm going to say it because I always do. You better remember that we are all in this together. Okay? We are all in this together. So be good to you, but be good to those around you. Have a great rest of your night, family, and be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. I love you. Have a good night.